It's Friday, the 5th of February, a beautiful spring day, and we'll start here at the trough. Probably too much sun there, but there's Maureen's gnome with one of the cats providing the sound effects of purring. And it's been raining quite a lot the last few days, so the whole place is quite damp, and we have a spring line here by the rock just here, this rock outcrop, and you can see all the water and the lane coming from that. So one of the things I want to do this winter is to dig a trench and fill it with gravel to kind of capture that material that's coming out. Okay, let's go down this way. So the tangle that you see there of sticks, that's all a kiwi from which we got a small harvest, about a big dinner plate full of little kiwis that were reasonably edible. And let's continue down here. I think all the fruit have been picked. We've got some wild garlic coming up here and lots of shadows. This pond is very active. The spring feeding into it, which is there on the right, just under that overhanging stone, over there, is very active. So that's one of the big jobs we have left, to finish this whole pond and connect it up with the other one. But you can see there's a lot of water coming out here because of the rainfall of the last couple of days. Okay, let's go up into, oops, out of the way, kitten. Oh, I'm getting stuck in the mud here. Go on. Okay, let's come up here. It's a nice sunny day. I think the Angelus bell is going to ring any minute. So I'm kind of going into the sun up here. Let me come up and approach it from a different space. So here's where the spring that we started off with Maureen's gnome comes under the laneway and then forms the, ignore the elder in the pot, forms the stream heading down to the big pond down below. Okay, let's follow that down. Actually, we'll go up and around. I'm going to step on this cat if she doesn't be careful. Okay, and there's the pond down below, and some very nice variegated saxifrage from Fota. And then this thing is already in flower, Kerria japonica. So the bulk of the flowers will come in April, March, April. But as you can see, there's some already there. Okay, the lighting isn't the best because there's so much shadow, but let's go down. There's the Castle Townsend myrtle, which is doing spectacularly well. Just coming down and crossing over the stream, and then the stream going down to the pond. So we've done some kind of clearing up of all the loose material and all the dead things that were down along here. But you can hear the water flowing. Okay, so it's noon on Friday the 5th. So you can see the kind of clearing up that has been done here. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it with the sun, but there's quite a lot of water flowing here today. Come on, cat, you're going to get stood upon. The red there is a euphorbia that's coming back very strong, looking very well. And then not looking quite so well are the echiums here, a little bit frost damaged. But yeah, you may not be able to see, but back up from here, if it wasn't for the Angelus, you'd hear the water very clearly. This is a lovely thing that's in flower now. It's a witch hazel, and you can see beautiful yellow flowers. And actually one of the other things, I passed one of the other things that's in flower, so let's go back. So it's over at the other side of the pond over there. Let's have a quick recap. It's called Daphne, and it's very heavily scented. It's got a waxy leaf and a waxy flower. So there's the flower. As I say, very heavily scented. Really nice scent. And sorry, you're probably pointing into the sun now. Maybe noon isn't the best time of the day to do this. Oh, this blooming cat is going to trip me up. She keeps stopping still, smack in front of where I'm standing. Okay, there's the Kerria japonica again, in flower on the 5th of February. Okay, let's go up through the spring garden. So this is an area where we repaired all the walls on the left this time last year in the first lockdown. And then maybe next week we'll get to doing this part here, which is really the final bit. So up for repair, and then we repaired these a little while ago. If we go through here, all the sheep next door, and now ignore the plastic up at the top, but we have what we call the spring walk because it's full of daffs. Here's Patsy basking in the sun, lots of daffodils, and then the other thing that we have here are lots of hellebores. That's a really nice one. And over here, pink. And the celandine is already in flower. We're joined by a third cat, so this is going to get really difficult. But something very pretty up here. Again, ignore the plastic. Are the cyclamens. And they're even better out here. Let's have a quick run around the corner. Actually, before we see the rest of the cyclamens, have a look at this. This is an Iris reticulata, and it's just come out, and I think it's earlier than the ones that are in the ground because it's in this pot. Lovely blue, miniature blue iris. Let's just have a look at some more cyclamens up here. This is a really nice display, and it's an accidental one that happened because we put the pot of cyclamens, just sat it there for a season until we decided where the cyclamens would go, and the whole thing just seeded all over the place. And I don't think it's a honeybee, but some kind of a bee. Let's go down. Well, actually, it's chilly today, but it's sunny, so you could have a bee out on a day like today. Ignore the view of the bedroom through the window and the unmade bed, but let's go along here where the snowdrops are, the early snowdrops. So these have been flowering since January, and very pretty. Actually, that's good now, the sun has gone in. So here's a nice cyclamen, a pure white one, just going over that particular one. And then these snowdrops were just planted here last year, so this is their first year. There's a nice group there, and another I think I said cyclamen hellebore there, so the white hellebore that we just saw, and here's an off-white one, and then some snowdrops here. In amongst the snowdrops you can see primroses. There'll be a mass of primroses by May, April, but just a small group so far. Let's have a look over here. This small little snowdrop is a double flowered one. So you can see it's a bit different from the one I showed you just a moment ago. And that's also an early one, because in fact these are the more typical snowdrops that will flower in mid-February, but we're a little bit ahead of that. So these are the early snowdrops, and I think we're going to get a little sun shower. The other thing that's popping up all the way along here is Lily of the Valley. So that's just beginning now, and of course that'll flower in May, so a little bit later on. Here's another hellebore. We actually have a problem with our hellebores, which is that we bought one in a garden centre and it had some kind of a blight on it, and that blight has spread to some of the other hellebores that we have here, which is a real shame. So for example, this hellebore here was always super abundant in terms of flowers, and this year it's not great, and there is a little bit of dieback, for example there and here, which could be that hellebore blight that they get. There's a beautiful one along here that actually did also come from a garden centre, so you can see why you might take the risk Beautiful. So that's just a metal bar to just keep it up, but beautiful red flower on that one. And then up along here we have our early daffodils. I actually deadheaded the first of those just yesterday, so the 4th of February, and those daffodils were in flower at Christmas. So there really are early daffs. And there's another nice hellebore up here. And you know that the hellebores breed with each other and produce all kinds of interesting mixes and so on. Let's go this way. So over there we have our herbaceous borders that are not much happening in those in the winter, but have a look here. This is a tree peony that's just beginning to bloom, and I think it's really going to, this is actually has been in a pot for a long time. We had it in Clonsilla and we just planted it in this location last autumn, so I think it's really going to thrive there in front of that south facing wall. And then here at the base of it we have an acanthus, which is it's been quite burned by the frost, but isn't doing too badly. I'll just give you a look into the veg garden. There's a bonfire in the making. That's that big pile on the left. And then the only thing really growing there, other than the perennials and so on, are garlics that were planted in October. So let's go down here, and you see some more spring flowers in the form of crocuses. So they're kind of at their best this week. Crocuses here. Beautiful yellow with moss background. And then the other thing that's over here, you can see plenty of vegetation, that bright green, that's a poached eggplant. So that'll be full of flowers in another couple of weeks, and plenty of material for bees there. Atom tidied up the rose here that's climbing over this arbor. See, it's much neater. That's actually not, the metal thing is not set in concrete or anything like that, which we kind of need to do. Let's just move around the corner here, show you other things that are in bloom. So we've got an ornamental quince. There was one of these in Five Tullyglass Hill just outside the bedroom windows. Can't remember what colour the flower in that was, whether it was red or white, but we've just cut that back now, so it should be better next year. And then the other things that are thriving are the hazels, and these are hazels that are actually productive, and you can see lots of catkins to produce pollen on those, and they're actually have, so they should be setting seed now. Let's go down these steps gingerly and see some more early daffodils. That's the black currant cage there, and some daffodils at the base of the wall here. They haven't flowered up that end, but around here where they're kind of north facing, but there are some early flowering ones there. They were all planted just one bulb per spot about 3 years ago, but they've multiplied very well. Okay, let's go down here. It's not COVID. So we've got a contorted hazel that's bronze, just cut that back and tidied it up. And then down here, well, actually, maybe I'll look at it from up above. You might get a better look at the flowers. This is a flowering winter honeysuckle. So it's evergreen, and you can see it's got quite a few flowers on it. So a very pretty thing. Okay, go back down by the snowdrops and so on. So those snowdrops, the really early ones, we got from a packet in Amsterdam airport, and you can see they've done very well there. So we dug them up and spread them around last year, and we'll do that with that big clump at the back this year again. And then this is that Iris reticulata that we saw earlier in the pot. So this is one in the ground that's just about to come out, another day or two. And the other thing that I noticed is coming out here, and I can't see it here, is a little purple anemone, and you can see one there. So they're quite early, and they'll be flowering in the next couple of weeks. We brought up some manure from Dermot Moore House, so that bed has been manured extensively, which is no harm because, we made those beds, and the soil there is actually quite thin. So we're back to the gnome. Let's go down these steps here. This is the saxifrage from Caharbridge Gardens, and go down these mystery steps past the exercise in decay, which was a cart, and we'll come around this side. So we've got some Iberis. That'll be a mass of white flowers. Actually, you can see the flowers are actually starting there. So another few weeks, we've got some daffodils mixed in there. Some more echiums here at the side of the house. They really found their niche. And let's finish up looking at the bed at the front of the house, where we have some, again, early flowering daffodils. So these have been flowering well into, they started quite early in January, and there's a lot of daffodil activity there. And then you can also see the tulips beginning to emerge at the back. Up here, this is a bed we created just last year. So there are some snowdrops just beginning to appear, but they're the later snowdrop rather than the early one that we have. This bed has also been manured with material that we brought up from Dermot Moore House. So you can see some primroses of different colours starting there, and then one of the early snowdrops right here. Okay, it's beginning to rain, so maybe I'll go inside. So you can see we've moved taken away the pots that are normally there, or that were there last summer, and replaced them with an olive. And but the bed there and the daffodils add a little bit of colour. So this spring then, the jobs to be done are sort out the lane, and then also maybe fix the wall here behind me and to my left. So we'll see you when we've done those.